Let me get a heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat. Can I get a heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check.
All right, welcome back, SML. Welcome everyone to Heat Check. This is the final episode of Season 3, regular season. We've got some big playoff games coming up. We're finalizing some last-minute seeding stuff. We've got Eagles football team on in the background here. Just want to say welcome to our special guest today. This is going to be an interesting episode. We're thinking about shooting off some real heat here. We got our boy, the RowinCuh, joining me and Bomber. How are you guys?
Oh, excited for
Doing
this episode.
good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, this definitely should be a fun one. Obviously, Row, you're coming off some big SML news. Looking back in the playoff chase here, mostly thanks to some big wins. You knocked off that scrub who has the Vikings, and you knocked off the rumors out there from a few teams, including yourself, the washed up goat. Big win over Prime. So how are we feeling about the season so far?
I've had my ups and downs. I've had my wins over you and Prime, which are definitely noteworthy. But then, I've had my losses to Mike and Chris when he was still here, and didn't really play great against Bomber this week. So I've had my ups and downs, but I'm happy to be playing when the season matters still.
Yes, sir. And this time, I believe it doesn't sound like you're going to have to rush back on any flights for big games towards playoff time here.
Nah, I am. I'll be headed back to my apartment in Orlando tomorrow, so I'll be locked in there, and I've clinched a spot since week 14, which is a pleasant change for me because I hover around 10-6 every season, but this season the back end of the NFC didn't give me too much trouble, so no moving flights this time.
There you go. That's what you love to hear. Got to be dialed in for the big game. So I don't actually think I know the seeding possibilities, but if you were to be able to pick who you wanted to play, who would you pick?
I'm pretty sure it's coming down between if Meats lose, if you haven't played Meats, correct? Yeah,
No, I have
right.
not played Meech yet. We should be playing tonight, so a little bit after
Yeah,
the
so
show.
if you beat Meats, I'll play Dump, and if you lose to Meats, I'm pretty sure I'll be playing Q in the football team. So those are the two teams. Q's beat me twice, but like I said, he can go off that 42-14 win all he wants. I still don't think. I mean, he's struggling with the new guy right now, from what I've seen. So I don't think he's all that. And Dump would be interesting because I know he has no passing defense, but his run defense is really good. So, but I know when he plays hot, he's hard to beat. So honestly, I'll take whatever I get and I'll make the most out of it.
All right, so I'll just wing it against Meats and see what happens here. As we're talking, pick six by old Clink here. So Washington's going to go up in this game by 7. Ugly pass there. Not sure what you were doing, Clink. That was pretty bad. Um, I believe that's it for questions I've got for Row. You have anything for him, Bomber?
Now let's move on to our next segment, which is going to be looking at the playoffs the way they stand right now, and we'll kind of make our predictions off of that, and then maybe even just work our way all the way through to the Super Bowl. But it looks like we'll start with the AFC, and Dan got the first round bye, so he won't have to play in the first round. But it looks like, and I think the AFC is pretty much locked up, pending the Browns and KJ. He's played the Steelers, so I don't think the Browns are going to lose that game. Woods has talked about it in chat that he's going to lose, but for KJ to win 3 in a row, I mean, the Browns just did win a playoff game in real life, so maybe this is KJ going to win 3 in a row. I don't know. Obviously, crazy shit's going on. So
2021, the year of possibilities.
yeah, it's turned out to be just like 2020, I think. But so we'll start with the first game. Is Prime playing Noel? I think this is going to be a pretty easy matchup for Prime. Noel's going to get in at worst 8-8. I think he's probably going to end up 9-7. He plays Mike, I think, tonight maybe. But I don't think he's got the tiebreaker over both NYT and Woods, so he's pretty much locked up that 7 spot. But I think that's about as far as he's going to get. What do you guys think about that game?
Take it away, Ro.
Yeah, I think Noah will keep it close in the first half probably. I mean, I remember playing him last year. I don't think I played him this year. I played him last year when he had the Bucks, and I hated playing him. But I think he had that team built exactly how I wanted. So I think it might be close for the first half, but I think Prime will pull away and he'll get a win, move on in the first round.
Yeah, I have to agree. I just played Noel last week, um, and the score I think looked worse than the game was. He's got a good run D. His pass D is not bad either. I had to hit a lot of reads, progressions, but I do think Prime's going to take this one, and get his first playoff win this cycle.
Yeah, that would be definitely his first one. So if he does lose this one, there's going to be a lot of
If
talk.
he loses that one, he could be in trouble from a couple of shows.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna let him hear it if
I
he loses this one.
I, I didn't doubt that for a second. But so the next matchup would be the number 3 seed Patriots taking on the number 6 seed Dolphins, and this one to me is kind of a toss up. They split the season series, and then you can't really tell what Paulie thinks about anybody because everybody's going to beat him by 30, and he's just lucky to be 500. Um, but I think if they match up, I think I'm leaning towards Paulie. But Matt's played pretty well. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Paulie in this one. I think.
Yeah,
This one
go for it, bro. It's all you.
I'm actually gonna go with Matt in this one. I think Paulie's always complaining he doesn't have the defensive line he wants. He doesn't, and I will say that's going to be a problem when you're playing a team who likes to run the ball as much as Matt does. I think Matt also got a chip on his shoulder coming in. People are saying, "Oh, he's got this bad team." He's made that clear in chat that he's winning and he can hang in there. So I think Paulie's never going to play a bad game. Paulie's never really going to get blown out. But I think Rashad Penny is going to eat up that Dolphins front seven a little bit. And I got Matt moving on.
Yeah, I have to agree. Especially after Dalvin Cook just ran for like 270 or something insane. Paulie's run D just isn't there, and that's all Matt's going to do. He's not going to pass. He literally won't do it. Um, so I just don't think I see Paulie stopping the run enough to hang around in this game. I think it's going to throw him off. He's going to get frustrated, and I think Matt moves on.
All right, and then that'll bring us to the last first round matchup, which would be myself. Probably, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the Browns beat the Steelers, and the Browns take that number 4 seed, win in the AFC North. Um, for me, that game could go either way. Woods, every time I play him, it's a tough game, so I'm not gonna pick that game, but I will say I think it's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, I was in a division with Woods last year when I came in. I absolutely hated playing Woods. No matter what his record was, he would give me a tough game every single time. But I do think Bomber is starting to click right now. I think he's got his team where he wants. Offensively, he looked good against me, which sometimes isn't saying the most, but he did look good against me. So I think Bomber's gonna handle Woods in this one. And if for some reason Woods does lose, and just a little throw this in, if it is the Ravens, that game will be over by half. Bomber will destroy NYT.
Yeah, I think I
Why you
have
got
to
to say
agree
that?
with.
I don't.
I think I'm going to agree with both sentiments. I do know the history with you and Woods and the tight games. I just think that you followed the same trend the last like 2 seasons. You start out hot, you slump a little bit towards the end, and then you regroup and you crush it in the playoffs.
Yeah, that does
So I
seem to
don't see
be
that.
a. It definitely seems to be a trend. I'm noticing that towards the end of the season, I start to fall apart a little bit, and then the last 2
It's like you
seasons at
get
least,
bored.
I, I'm definitely not getting bored. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe subconsciously, I just get tired of doing, you know, the same thing. So I try something new and it just completely fails. I don't know, but hopefully that trend does continue because it's resulted in an AFC Championship appearance both times. But we'll see.
Yeah, until I see that trend break, I'm gonna pick you.
All right, so let's move over to the NFC then, and we'll start with. It looks like the Buccaneers got the number 1 seed. And the number 2 seed playing the 7 is going to be you and the Vikings taking on Royce and the Panthers. So it almost looks like both of you got buys in this first round. Panthers. I don't know how he clinched as early as he did. I don't know if there's just not many.
Well, it would have to be division. No, not a
No, he
division
didn't
one,
win the
'cause
division, but he clinched. I want to say it was like week 15 or 16. He was saying he clinched a wild card spot.
interesting.
Now I don't even
Was
know
he
who would
around?
be
Like,
the
did he
next
actually know,
team.
or did he just say that?
What's that?
Was he around? Like, did he actually like know that, or did he just like say he clinched?
Oh, maybe he did just say it because I'm not sure, but I think that's going to be an easy game for you. Um, it's Christian McCaffrey or nothing. Now he's out there. He's got Jacob Eason starting sometimes, and he brings in somebody else. I don't even remember who it was after he traded like 37 picks to get Eason. So I think there's a lot of confusion going on right now in Carolina, and I think that's going to be an easy game for you. Bro, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. When I played Royce, I think I beat him 38-21 a few weeks ago. He doesn't seem to be the same player he used to be. I think Faz will roll pretty easily unless Royce finds some lightning in a bottle, but I'm not expecting him to. I got Faz.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's as easy as you guys are saying. I don't think Madden 21 has any easy games, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We
I'd
will
agree
see.
with that. Anything can happen in any of these games.
Yeah, and
But
this game is something like that. Oh, another pick. I think Klink's dead.
all right, so it looks like
Looks like
Washington's
it's
going
gonna
to
be a
win
win
that
for
one.
Q.
So that's kind of fitting because the next game we're going to talk about is Washington, and right now they're playing Meats. Um, I don't know. The Washington felt like two teams when I played him, and I only played him one time. But the first half he played really well, and then the second half just kind of completely imploded. I want to say he threw like 3 or 4 interceptions, had a fumble, and I think he did the same thing in his game against
Well,
you as
speaking of
well.
fumbles, Klink picks up a fumble here. Has the ball on the 7 now, down
All right,
7.
so we may see that Washington late game collapse. So on that note, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Meats, even though Washington was my my preseason bold prediction to be that #1 seed. I'm gonna take Meats in this. He's got the playoff experience, and Kyler Murray is always dangerous. So I'm gonna take Meats in this game, especially with that defense that's going to be really opportunistic. I mean, he's got like 463 interceptions with Isaiah Simmons, who's got more touchdowns than like the entire AFC combined. So I'm gonna take Meats in this game.
Yeah, I'm as well going to take Meats. The record's usually not up to where it is for Meats, but I would say I think he's in a tough conference or a tough division. Um, and I think that Washington record's a little boosted, saying they were coming in playing a fourth place schedule. Um, so I think that playoff experience, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Isaiah Simmons, Philip Lindsay, those are 4 players that Meats will lean on heavily when he has to, and he will have to in the playoffs. So I got Meats in this one.
Yeah, it's fair. This is gonna be a tight one. I feel like it's gonna come down to a couple things. Basically, how well Q does avoiding Simmons. When I played him, he did a great job avoiding my user. I feel like he never threw the ball near me until the red zone. And I did get one pick there, and that pretty much changed the game. But the rest of the game, he kind of avoided my user like the plague. So I think if he does that with Meats, he can be okay. The big worry with Q, I think, is the picks. And obviously Meats just has a whole bunch of ball hawks in the secondary, which I think is going to cause trouble. But also I think Q's offense can just, move the ball very well, very fluidly. He's decent on defense. It's a tough one for me to pick. I've been hyping Q up for a while, so like I want to just do that out of pride, and I might still do that anyway. So I think I'm going to take Q here just because I've amped him up a little bit, so
All right.
hopefully rises to the occasion.
All right, so that'll take us to our last game of the wild card round, and that's going to be none other than Rowan himself taking on Dump as of now. I honestly think this is the worst matchup that Rowan could run into. I think any other matchup, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. Maybe minus Faz because you've got Dalvin Cook over there. I think the running game is what hurts Rowan's defense the most. And then you got Dump coming in with 2,000 yard Mostert. But That being
dude is a
said,
god.
I still think I'm going to go with Rowan in this game. Um, the defense has been there occasionally. Took a week off last week playing me, but shut down
Occasionally.
Prime. Prime's got Jonathan Taylor. That's not a walk in the park
Yeah.
running back to go up against. He's a superstar running back. Prime's really good with him. Shut him down. Um, and then he did beat Faz earlier in the season, so I'm gonna go with Rowan over Dump. I think it's gonna be a really high scoring game. But I think Rowan's going to pull it out, and we have seen him come out with quite a few of these last second heroics. So I think the cardiac kids make one last appearance here, and I think he passes Dump.
Yeah, I don't
Love to
think
hear it.
I'm not gonna speak too much on this one. But I will say that there's no telling if Dump will beat me, if I will beat him, or if I will beat myself.
Or if Dump
That is
will beat
possible.
himself.
Or
That's
Dump will
true.
beat himself. With me and Dump, that is possible every single week. But it will be interesting. Saying that I like to use Saquon, he likes to use Mostert. He has a good run defense. I do not have the best run defense. On paper, it looks like he has a slight upper hand because of that. But you never know. I mean, last time I played him, we saw Darius Slayton with the walk off. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but I think hopefully it'll be close either way.
Yeah, this is on paper, I think Dump does have a slight advantage, but I think when we're talking Dump and Row, I think paper just goes out the window. We're just going to see what happens. I think the game is going to be chaos, and I'm hyped for it. I will say that every time that I pick Row, he loses, and every time that I pick against Row, he wins.
Wait. So who
So
are you
here's the
picking here? Because
deal.
I may want to change my pick here.
So
I'm
here's
about,
the
I'm about to
deal.
figure out my fate right here.
Yep.
Because Row is my boy, I'm picking you to lose, and we're gonna see what happens
There you
here.
go. He's gonna put the curse on Dump. I get it. All right. All right. So that was the first round of the playoffs. Now, without trying to figure out who the matchups would be and whatever after that, who do you think will be the representatives in the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game, and then we'll pick our Super Bowl matchup? Because looking at the schedule, I think it's gonna be Prime and Dan, and I think on the NFC side, I think it's gonna be Faz again, and I don't. I feel like after that, it's kind of a toss up, but I'll go with Rowan. I think that the offense could get hot.
Hey,
Unfortunately for Rowan, though, I think in the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be the Vikings. I don't think you're going to make magic happen twice. And I think it's going to be against Dan. I think it'll be Dan and Faz again in a repeat. And unfortunately, I think Dan's going to probably repeat that second half of the Super Bowl and maintain it for the entire Super Bowl. So I got the Broncos
well, wait,
winning.
am I gonna go into the second half of the lead or not? Because that's a big deal.
You may disconnect at the end of the first half if it starts out the way the last one ended. But I'm going to go with Dan getting his second back-to-back. What do you guys got?
I may disconnect
Uh,
at the end of the first half anyway, even if I'm winning. Oh darn! Send me that Zimbardi.
In the AFC, I know we don't really know how it's going to end up seeding wise because you don't know who's really going to win. But theoretically, if there was no seeds and everyone was just playing, my top in the AFC Championship game, I don't have Mad Bomber versus Dan. Mad Bomber seems to know how to win the games when it matters. He'll go through that late season slump. I think there's a potential he matches up with Prime in the playoffs this year, and I think he'll edge him again when it matters. And then Dan just wins games pretty flat out. But then I got Bomber making the Super Bowl from the AFC. I think he's motivated to push through and finally get there. So I got him from the AFC, and then from the NFC. I got Dookie just because as obnoxious as he is can be sometimes, and off the walls, he does just win games. He finds ways. It's cheesy or not, I don't know. That's not up for me to decide. But he wins games, and then going up against him, it's gonna come down to Faz or Meats, I think, that rematch. And I got Faz. I think Faz can be a little more composed. So I got a Faz versus Dookie, and I got Dookie going to the Super Bowl. So we're gonna have Cortez Street versus Chance Fisher, Hit Stick versus Hit Stick in the Super Bowl. And I got Bomber winning his first. I think this is the year he breaks through. All that content, all that producing is finally gonna earn himself a Sombardi.
I like the way this guy thinks.
I love it. So I might go off the wall in my AFC pick here. I think for one of them, I'm gonna pick Matt. Simply because this game's wild. His style is wild, and I think that ball control and the run game can earn some playoff upsets. And also, it's just got to be somebody other than the turn this blue screen off. It's got to be somebody other than the normal three teams from the AFC here. So I'm picking Matt to go on a little run here. I think he gets an upset. I don't know who it would be against, but I think he beats Paulie, and he's what, the 3 seed?
Yeah, he's the 3 seed. He did win that division.
Matt's a 3 seed. Yeah, so he would have to play Dan then. No, he would have to play the second seed.
Yeah, dependent. Well, yeah, I don't. It wouldn't even depend on
obviously
anything.
depending on what happens, but chances are pretty good.
Yeah, as long as Prime beats Noel, he's playing Prime.
Right. So I think that we have one more. Especially, I'm just mad that Prime blew my 16-0 bold prediction. Really, is what it comes down to.
Funny enough, you
so
picked him to win or to lose in week 17, and that's the one that he won, and that ended up where me and you tied for our overall predictions record because of that.
Unbelievable.
It came down to that game.
This guy's killing me. him and Two-Step, man. I might never forgive him. So yeah, I think Matt pulls off a little run here. I think he can beat Paulie, and I think he squeaks by Prime in a close one, which then I believe would leave it to you and Dan. And that, oh man, this AFC is tough to pick, bro. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Rowan here. I'm gonna pick Bomb. I think I can see you in the AFC representative. We get a little bit of a different Super Bowl.
Nope,
and
it's
in the
official.
NFC,
I'm going to be out in the first round.
That's your real thoughts here. You and Matt losing game 1. Dang it.
Yep.
I blew it. No, I have faith. I think you can overcome. I think you stay hot this time, and you finally get over that big game in the AFC ship. Third time's the charm.
Yeah, hope so.
NFC, I mean, I'm going to pick me. No other words.
Oh,
no
other words. Okay.
Pick me.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the confidence here, and why not? This is the time to be.
There we
confident.
go. Dookie picks.
I mean,
Faz picks himself. All right.
I think I picked me last season.
I think he did.
So I think I might be. I think I might be exempt from my own curse. We'll see, or maybe I just really brought the curse.
I mean,
I would love to play Row in the championship. Though.
That curse kicked in
like
the second half.
All right. Well, in that case, if we're gonna go by the book, it's Dookie.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with Dookie and watch that curse do its thing.
All right, so that's our picks for the postseason here, but we don't want to leave out all the other teams. So let's look at each team and kind of we'll give them a little piece of advice or what we think they should do or maybe just take a shot at them. But the first team up, and I'm just going to go through them alphabetically, is the Bears. So the Bears with Figs. This is a team that he won a playoff game the first season of the cycle.
Yeah, season 1.
He's barely won any games since then. But he's coming in with the 11th pick, and this is all based off of what's in game right now, so it may change. But right now he's got the 11th pick. He's got an X Factor quarterback. So
does he really?
Yeah, his rookie that he drafted is an X Factor quarterback. For some reason, he was still playing Trubisky on occasion during the season.
What in the world?
Yeah, he's got 83 speed. He's got 85 change of direction, 91 throw power, all 80s, hell, not 89 short accuracy, 87 medium accuracy, and 83 deep.
This dude's a baller.
Yeah, I don't know why Trubisky has ever seen the field since he drafted this guy. He's also got quick draw ability and roaming deadeye to go with a first one free X factor, which is
Yikes, that sucks.
pretty worthless. But what would your advice be for Figs going forward this offseason? We'll start with you, Ron.
Uh, Maybe learn how to play Madden again. So he had his little one season wonder where he was awful yappy in chat. Um, I would say drink less beer, focus on the game, and use the young pieces you have. Um, that's about as short and sweet as I can get it. And yeah, and specifically about the game, try to score points. It's hard to win games without scoring points. As good as your defense can be, you gotta score to win. So that's for Figs.
All right. I was gonna say add a defensive lineman, but that's a good way to open this.
Oh man, this really is going to be the shots fired edition. I love it. Yeah, defensive line could help. That's for sure. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, this team is sound. This is a pretty good roster. Don't miss on that 11th pick. That's gonna be a big deal. But I think the biggest thing for Figs, man, is get out of your own head. I feel like he comes into like every game like a little bit of the Pauly mindset, like, oh man, like I hope I can keep this one close. Like, come on, man.
The
Just come
difference
out,
is
like,
I think Figs might believe it.
I think Figs definitely believes
Yeah.
it. I think
I
that's
don't think Pauly believes it.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no, man, get out of your own head. Like we've played some tight games. I mean, the one he had me dead to rights, and I won because of a pinball animation. So Figs has got it in him. He just doesn't seem to want to channel it quite as often as he could.
Yeah, I think like you said, he needs to hit on that number 11 pick. He doesn't have a number 2 pick, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big one. Maybe trade that for more. But to me, Fig's problem isn't the roster. There's a lot of guys in this league that can point to their roster and say that it may be holding them back. I don't think the
Yep.
Bears are one of those teams. So, like you said, he needs to hit on that pick and then maybe get out of his own head. All right, next team up is going to be one of your favorites. Terrible two-step in the Bengals. He's picking 16.
Oh, man.
made a run at the AFC North, but I think he's going to fall just short. What do you think for this team?
Well, first having me hype you up in the offseason, probably get away from that. That hasn't worked for many teams. Looking at his squad here, I mean, the big answer here is stop throwing to the wrong team. That's that's the big one. So many interceptions. If he can just take, a lot more checkdowns like that, that's gonna be the answer. Maybe grab another receiver. Tyler Boyd is got really good numbers. John Ross is very fast. Everybody after that kind of stinks. And for a team that clearly likes to throw the ball, if he can get somebody who can kind of give him that really nice like underneath option, so he's not consistently looking at John Ross down the field, that might help just the mental aspect of things, of just like take your easy read, take your check down, take the drag, take the slant. Because I mean the rest of it, like the team looks pretty good. Obviously Joe Mixon can run with the best of them. Defense, obviously there's some good pieces on defense. The D line's good. He's got some good corners. So yeah, I'm gonna go maybe find a reliable, that Jarvis Landry type receiver underneath.
Bro, what do you got for two-step?
To start, I would try throwing to the team that has your jerseys on.
That's a big one.
Like Faz says, that tends to help a long ways. I think that honestly that beats him most games. His offense numbers aren't great. They're actually everything's 25th and higher. So maybe learn how to play some offense as well. Because you definitely have the pieces too with Mixon, Burrow, Boyd, Ross. You got a rookie tight end who doesn't seem to be half bad. Yeah, you got a 22-year-old tight end who's 85 overall with
Holy
86
smokes.
speed. I mean, you've got the pieces to score, and you can't do it yet. So maybe score. Like maybe hopefully I don't have to keep saying that to teams. But if you wanted to add a piece, I would maybe try to spend a little money on maybe a solid linebacker one. help kind of man that defense up in the middle, stop some run. Linebackers only really weak spot on this team. You've got aging corners, but they can hold it down for a few more years. So score points and maybe snag a linebacker.
All right, so I'm going to kind of piggyback off what you two said. I like to scout. I'm pretty. If I have a big game coming up, I'll scout my opponent, right? So I think what two-step needs to do is a little more scouting of his opponent. And I know going on like Google and YouTube and stuff is probably not recommended, but here's what I want you to do, two-step. I want you to go to Google and look at who your opponent is for that week, and I want you to Google their uniforms. Get a really good look at their uniforms, and then don't throw to that one. That's the only scouting tip you need, is if they're wearing red and you're wearing orange, don't throw to red. If they're wearing black,
Bro, this episode's gonna kill
and you're
me.
wearing white, don't throw to black. It's really simple. Spend, maybe 20 minutes a day. You get on there, you scout their uniforms, and find the difference. Everybody's seen those little cartoons where you got to like find the 7 differences in the picture. Just put the 2 uniforms next to each other and try to find all the differences so you don't throw to that team. Because I think that alone is going to improve the record of the Bengals. And if that doesn't change, I don't care if you get all 99s. It's not going to matter. So, scouting, 20
Bro,
minutes a day.
we're gonna find out that two-step is colorblind, and we're all gonna feel like a bunch of jerks.
No, I'll just feel right. That's not. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so next up is the Bills, and we'll skip the playoff teams because I don't think we need to give them any advice because really their advice should be continue to do what you're doing at this point. Then we got the Broncos, and we got the Browns. They're probably in, so we can skip them. Buccaneers are in. You know what? We're skipping a lot of teams. Let's just go back and we'll do the teams that are in anyway. Maybe some of them could use a little advice. All right, so the Bills. He's picking 21st. This one's easy for me. Noel's team needs a running back that's faster than 86. I know he's got Ito Smith and he's got some rookie Sprinkle that he got and another rookie Benjamin that I think someone's like practice squad. But he's got Devin Singletary, who's not having a bad season. I mean, he's getting decent yards. 86 speed. Now that 97 change of direction and 92 acceleration, those make up for the difference. But as somebody who's playing with a slow running back, you need to get a faster running back. Zach Moss is his other guy, also 86. So that'd be my advice to Noel is find another running back with some speed. Rowan, what do you got for him?
Yeah, I agree. A running back with speed would definitely help. But at the same time, if you have a 24-year-old running back who's 91 overall, it'd be very hard for me to move off of him. So the speed definitely doesn't help, but there's other tangibles on him that can make him work. I would really go out and try to get maybe a veteran, a solid wide receiver too. You have Diggs, who's an animal, 96 overall. But then after that, it falls off a little bit. You got 24-year-old, 77 overall. So he's not the best. Then you got 76, 73. I'd try to grab another 80, 85, veteran wide receiver to, give you option 1, option 2, make the defense look at both sides of the field instead of just Diggs. You can make the running back work, really. I think that passing game would also set up the running game with Singletary.
All right, fast.
Yeah, I agree with both of what you guys are saying. I'm gonna go to the secondary. He has a very good secondary. Obviously, Trey White, Teron Johnson, both studs. I think what hurts him though is extremely low zone coverage abilities or like ratings outside of the safeties and obviously Trey. But like Teron Johnson, 76 zone. Derek Holmes looks like his third corner. Very good man at 84, but 67 zone. Rashad Dillon, 72. Noel plays a lot of man. He likes stacking the box to take away the run. The only problem is that man can be very exploitable in Madden. And usually receiver against like a comparable corner, the receiver usually wins. And I think that's really what dogs him in our game. So I think if he could get like another corner back there that can pair with the top 2 and, play zone pretty well, I think he could diversify his defense a little bit, make it a little tougher to move the ball on him through the air.
All right. So next up is Dan. Dan doesn't have a first or second round pick. I've actually got his first in that Josiah Scott trade, and I don't know where his second went, but he doesn't have a first or a second in this draft. So I don't think the draft is going to be where he's going to do anything to his roster.
Well, lucky for him, he don't freaking need it.
Yeah, his roster actually doesn't really need much of anything. Maybe he could upgrade his offensive line. He's got a right tackle right now that's a rookie that's 21, 67 overall. But that guy is probably no difference between him and a 75 overall veteran. They're probably going to play pretty much the same.
Yeah.
He is getting a little old on the defensive line with Jarrell Casey and Danny Shelton. But it's not that bad. Chubb's only 26, and then he's got a trio of 22-year-olds at the right end position. One is that he just drafted last season that he traded up to get. Von Miller's getting a little older, and his linebackers are getting a little old. He signed Levante David, so maybe something in his front seven. But outside of that, I mean, team's pretty stacked. He's only got like one loss on the season. There's not much you could do other than continue to do the same thing you've been doing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dan's the best team builder I've ever come across in Madden, so I don't really think he's going to need many tips from myself.
Yeah. Rowan, you got any advice? Maybe score more points?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I would just start looking at the future. Levante David's 32, Von Miller's 33, Jarrell Casey's 32. You're going to start losing a few progression points, and they're going to get old, maybe retire, maybe to not be as good. Just kind of plan for the future. Other than that, I think you should be fine.
All right, so next up is the Browns, currently with the 17th pick. Browns, I don't know how sold he is on his quarterbacks. I know now it looks like he's going to Sam Darnold. Maybe he could draft a quarterback. Right now he's got Hunt and Chubb at running back. His receivers are pretty good. This is another team that I think is very well stocked with talent. The only thing I could maybe think is maybe add another defensive lineman. Kind of a similar issue with the Broncos as far as getting old. His defensive tackle position, he's got Brandon Williams, 33, who I'm pretty sure he only signed to a one-year deal. And then you got Ogunjobi at 28. I mean, it's tough to find a weak spot on some of these teams, and if I had to pick, that would probably be it. So I guess upgrade his front seven.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree with that.
Yeah, I would say the same. That defensive tackle, upgrade that D line, and then with the quarterback thing, just use your head, man. I mean, flip flopping quarterbacks all year. Thank you first off for walking on Baker, because saying that he doesn't make good throws. Sometimes I like you, Woods, but look in the mirror. Maybe it's not Baker. Maybe it was the person pressing the buttons. I think you like to blame the quarterback as a scapegoat when it might just be you're throwing to the wrong team a little too much. So kind of just pick a quarterback and roll with them. See where that'll get you.
Yeah, I think for me, I would be saying I would probably be trying to move Kareem Hunt. I mean, the dude's attributes are nasty. 89 overall. He's got 90 speed, 99 carry, 88 truck, 93 juke. Like, this dude can do everything. But you've got Chubb. Like, if you're taking the ball out of Chubb's hands, I don't really know what to tell you. So I would be moving Hunt. You can take like a change of pace back in the draft if you want, but I would move him and try and get younger again in the front four there.
All right, so that's going to take us to Tampa Bay, and it looks like Dookie actually has 2 first-round picks. He picked up Baltimore's in that the trade for the corner. I can't remember who it was he traded, but then
Murphy Bunting something or another.
That's it. Yeah. So he got a first for him, and Baltimore possibly may miss the playoffs, so that could be a nice pick. And then he's got his own pick, which should be towards the end of the first round, and then no second. With his team, this is another one where I don't really know what I would do here. Probably something on defense, because his defense is just like a lot of other teams, a little old. I know he's got Dante Fowler. I doubt he's going to re-sign him. He's got Olivier Vernon on the line. Chandler Jones he picked up from Meats, and then he does have some young linebackers as well. Maybe a secondary. I know he was complaining about after he made that trade that he could use some help at the corner position. So maybe spend some of that cap that he's going to have on a corner, and get a little younger at the linebacker position with one of those 2 first-round picks would be my advice. And maybe just say less in chat.
I knew you were going to say that.
All right, Rowan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would. It seemed like he kind of grabbed a lot of 1-year rentals this last year. Seems to be working out all right for him. I would use those picks to youthen up there, and then like Bomber said, grab another corner because his next corner is only 75 overall. He's only 25, so he has potential. He's got youth at corner, but maybe go grab one that can really shore it up until they start to grow a little bit. And yeah, just be a little less stupid. You made me a cool video after beating Prime, which I didn't want to share because it was a little iffy in some places, and I did not want to get kicked. But I appreciate that. But yeah, just like the Lamar Jackson talk, just he's not good. Like I don't know how many times you have to hear it. Just put it to bed. Go argue with your friends about it. We don't want to hear it.
Stellar running back, phenomenal at that.
Oh, I mean, like probably a top 3 running back in the league. But.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have said it. Like the team is very good. I mean, Dookie's lost like 2 regular season games, I think. So it's clearly the issue is not going to be the roster here. Secondary could get better. Safeties are pretty bad. Fisher's a Jamal Adams clone. But in coverage, it's dicey. Carlton Davis, good man coverage, zone not good. The other guys mostly just not that good. It really comes down to just Dookie's got to figure out how to put himself into better positions on defense. That's really all it is. It's not a team thing for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. So next up is Meats. He's picking 22nd as of now, and then he also has 2 second-round picks to go with that. One of them being Tampa Bay's pick. He's another one who's got a really good team. He could maybe use the tight end. He's got like a 76 overall there. But for the most part, the team looks pretty good. I feel like people are kind of catching on to his offense though. So maybe he needs to change something up on the offensive side. The defense is as usual playing lights out with the turnovers. So maybe continue that. His defense is getting a little old though, and not really that great at the linebacker position. So I would use maybe some of those early picks to get a linebacker, and maybe try to change up a little something on offense.
Yeah, I would. That offensive line's looking a little weak, but like I'm not a huge believer in how much offensive line really matters. So there's no that varies from person to person. But I agree, the linebacker core is a little not fantastic. Decent speed in the linebacking core, but besides that, they're not quite up to par. At corner, he's got Peterson and Harris kind of aging out, 32, 33, but he's got Jamal Dean sitting in line behind him. So maybe add one more corner that can hold it down as like a third, fourth quarter in your pass-heavy packages. But other than that, team's pretty solid.
Yeah, no doubt. This is another very good roster. I would look at the defensive line. Obviously, he traded Chandler Jones, so I think that pass rush is probably not quite as vicious as it was in seasons past, which obviously it's not affecting the turnovers too much, but it might get him playing against some of the more elite passers. So I might look pass rush if I was going to improve something on this roster. But again, not too many options to go with.
All right, so then we've got the Chargers. They're coming in with top 10 pick. They're going to have, it looks like, number 7. That's Death Wish, one of the newer guys. I don't know what to think about this guy anyway, because he played Prime and almost beat him. He played somebody else. Was it Dan? Well, he's already beat Dan once and then played him tough again. But then I beat him like 30-6. So I don't – and it was one of the easier games I played all year. So I don't know what to think. Maybe it's just the way he matches up. If I was him, maybe I add another corner. But I'm not sure. This team I would probably add. Actually, I might add a receiver too. I'm not a big fan of Mike Williams with his 89 speed at receiver, but he does have 90s in all the catching stats. So I don't know. I don't know what he could do to improve. Maybe play more, or just watch what you did against Prime and do that.
Do that more often.
Yeah, do more of that, less of whatever you did against me. Rowan, what do you got?
Yeah, I would tell him to put a consistent product on the field. I mean, honestly, he took over a pretty freaking good team from QB. You were mentioning wide receiver. I mean, wide receiver, he's got a second-year player with 93 speed and a second-year player with 94 speed and a rookie with 93 speed. So he's got youth to grow in wide receiver. His passing stats don't seem great defensively. He seems to get dotted up. So maybe a corner, but another pretty good roster that I think just need to maybe play the game a little better.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the consensus here. To be honest, I feel like I miss almost all of his games. I couldn't even tell you the last one of his streams I saw. I think the last one might have been the game against Bomber. So I don't see him play very often. I don't feel like I have a lot of input to give him on his game. He's slow in the secondary. His corners have good ratings, but not one of them above 90 speed outside of this guy, Michael Davis, who doesn't have the best coverage on top of it. So maybe some speed in the secondary, but that feels like a little bit of a nitpick here. Maybe move on from some of these guys who are very high overalls, but, don't have like the superstar dev. Mike Williams isn't going to do anything for you, regardless of how good his stats are.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little bit because we're closing in on just over 45 minutes already, and we're only at the Chiefs.
We are crawling.
Yeah, so we'll try to pick it up a little bit here. All right, so the Chiefs, this one's really simple. We know you have Tyreek Hill. I know you love throwing bombs to Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. So does everyone else. Everyone knows that's what you're going to do. And
check the ball down, man.
Yeah, occasionally it's going to work. You're going to hit for like 295 yards passing with one guy and get a touchdown. That's great, but you're still going to end up under 500 because it's not going to work against everybody. And for the love of God, use a first-round pick on a defensive player. I believe the last two were another receiver and a running back. The running back, I don't even think it gets used much at all. And then the receivers buried behind Hardman and Hill catching streaks and Travis Kelce. So for the love of God, pick somebody on defense. Flip a coin, scroll through the teams. Doesn't matter. Just pick someone on the defensive side. That would be my advice to the Chiefs. And like you said, check down once in a while.
Just check the ball down, man. Just do it.
Yep.
If you check the ball down, I mean, I have the Chiefs in Dan's league. If you check the ball down, there's nothing anybody can do. End of story.
Yep. All right, Rowan, what do you got for ZZ?
Yeah, run the ball. You have the least rush yards in the league. Like I don't know, run a jet sweep to Tyreek if it makes you happy. Just run the ball maybe. And then maybe try stopping teams as well. Like 29th in all your defensive categories. Kind of the opposite of Figs. Yes, you can score, but you have to score more than the other team, ZZ. You can put up 50, and if the other team puts up 51, it doesn't matter. Run the ball, variate, and stop teams. That's it.
All right, Fess?
I already said it. Check the ball down.
You did,
literally.
Okay.
That's the answer. Yeah.
All right, so next up is Prime. Prime doesn't have a first-round pick. He's got his first pick is going to be a second, and then he's got 2/3. One of those came from Royce in the Eason deal. Advice for Prime. Well, I'll be damned if I'm going to give him any advice because we play twice a year, and lately it's been 3 times a year. So I'll give advice to everyone else on Prime. He does not have a first-round pick. Do not trade the number 1 pick. KJ, I'm looking at you. Do not trade him the number 1 pick. Right, keep him out of the first round. He's already got DK Metcalf. Don't trade with Prime. I don't know how many times people have to say it, and then I got to watch people get trade raped. But, yeah, that's all I got for that one. Rowan, what do you got?
Maybe a little short of right end a little bit. Your right end's old. Ingram and Hughes, 33, 34. Aside from the roster, maybe win when it matters. I know you're big on your regular season wins in Madden 21. Woo. Win when it matters. And lastly, don't act like you didn't want to beat me. That's just pathetic. You're saying you don't entertain yourself with me. You didn't talk trash. Go take that argument somewhere else. Win when it matters, Prime.
Faz, you want to follow that up?
I can already see ourselves on the playoff hype video coming up here, so I'm not gonna add any more ammo to that. I will say, and this is half a joke, half not a joke. I'll use that commissioner intimidation, baby. Bombers telling everybody not to trade with you. You can scare somebody into a trade. Let me tell you. Get that banhammer swinging, and you can find a first round pick.
KJ, do not trade him your first round pick.
KJ, you want to stay in the league, dog?
All right, next up is the Cowboys. Looks like Grams right now is picking 14th after what looks to be a 2-season slide. He went from like 13-3 to 8-8 to now I think he's gonna be 7-9. Just getting worse, and same thing as ZZ. Like ZZ's got tons of guys on offense, and his first round pick every season has been more offense. Grams took a quarterback right after drafting, or not drafting, but re-signing Dak Prescott. He drafts a quarterback, and then he drafts not one but two more receivers with first round picks. I think it was first round picks that he got these guys with, Sermons and Silas. Use your draft picks on defense. You got rid of Van Der Esch because you said there was cap reasons, and you got rid of a corner because of cap reasons. But you got all these offensive guys, and you just keep refilling with more offensive guys. Hell, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers over 75. 2 of them are over 90. One's over 95. Like, there's only one ball. So maybe build up that defense with your draft picks. Like I said, picking 19th, I think, this season. So, or 14th. I'm sorry, 14th. And he does have his first, his second, and his third to go with 2 fourths. So, defense. All 4 of those picks should be on defense. Faz, go ahead.
Yeah, mine would be I'd be moving Amari Cooper. You definitely don't need the super receiver. You've already got CD. You've got the rooks. The secondary is pretty bad. I think we got to improve at corner. Got to improve at safety. The linebackers are less than ideal. Defensive line is not bad. But yeah, I'd be moving Cooper, beef up the D, and to run the ball, man.
Well, his problem is going to be Cooper's
all the time.
Cooper's an X factor, and he's only 28 and a 96 overall. So,
can he not trade him?
He can't trade him. But I would definitely move maybe Sermons or one of those
all right,
other
so
guys.
Move the young dudes. But dang, that kind of sucks. But still, run the ball. I mean, I get the receivers are good, but I mean, nobody's stopping Zeke this year. If he gets lit up, it's literally over. So run the ball like crazy.
All right, Rowan. He's in your division.
I almost hate to say this because I see you twice a year, but run the ball. Like Faz said, I've played on the Eagles in the primer, and the guy that plays with the Cowboys in primer runs the ball 45 times a game, and it's the most annoying thing ever, and it's impossible to stop. You got the players.
Maybe not that much.
Yeah, you don't got to do that much, but at least run it a little more than you are now. Upgrade roster-wise, I would upgrade linebacker. Aside from Jalen Smith, linebacker's pretty weak. He's a beast, but other than that, I'd try to figure out the wide receiver room. You got a lot of talent. When you have a few holes you could fill elsewhere, like linebacker. Maybe dish out a wide receiver, get back draft capital or linebacker, and shore up that defense a little bit.
All right, so next up is Paulie and the Dolphins. This one really simple. Just get front 7. You've made it more than known that that's what you're lacking. Now you need to actually just go out and get some guys. Because right now, yeah, it's the front 7 doesn't look good, and from the looks of it, there aren't many. I don't really see too many that he's added, or they're just not good additions. So I would definitely work on adding on the front 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. D-line's got to get better. He needs some run stuffers in the worst way. And if you're going to dog somebody for blowing a lead, maybe don't blow a 3-score lead to them in the fourth quarter.
All right,
Yeah, that D line needs help. Don't complain about it if you ain't gonna do anything to fix it and you've had the opportunity to. And then maybe a wide receiver, as well as you pass the ball with these not so great wide receivers. I think if you go get someone young, you could really turn them into something worthwhile. So maybe that, and then stop acting like you don't belong. You're good. Know it. Embrace it.
All right. So next up is the Eagles. We just saw them. I guess they lost to Washington.
No, he won. He won.
Oh, he ended up winning. Okay.
Yeah, he won.
So he ended up beating Washington, and he's going to have the number 3 pick. He's got all his picks still. This team isn't bad roster-wise.
No, this team sucks.
But
this team's really bad.
Yeah. I think what he needs to do, though, I think he might have a little bit of cap issues. So I guess just try to get that under control. Having a number 3 pick, though, give you an ability to add somebody fairly cheap. So just try to get the cap under control, I think.
Yeah, I think the tough part for Klink is I think he's not even allowed to like trade any of these like big cap hit guys because they're either X factors or superstars or something. So Klink, I think your answer might be hit on number 3 and whoever your second is, and I think Prayer is going to be your best friend for next season. So
yeah, and then just wait for
good luck,
regression or retirements.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. There's a lot of just more wrong with this team than I thought there was. I would say sit back until you can trade. Welcome to the league. Enjoy your time. Maybe try to fill your team with scheme pieces that you like. But other than that, you might just want to have to sit tight for a while before you can build the team how you want to.
All right, so next up is going to be a Lawyer. And the Falcons, he's picking number 10. He's got all his picks. He's got a rookie quarterback that he's been doing pretty good with. The only thing I can think here is watch the game against Dookie to figure out how to play offense because you played great offense against him. And then find somebody to replace Gurley because he's getting a little older. But that's about it for Lawyer in the effort to speed this up.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with running back. Gurley is obviously a beast, but 28. And I don't know. He's not superstar, is he? No, he's just star. Yeah, no, you got to move on from Gurley. Rob?
Yeah, shore up that secondary. Seems like you get dotted up a little bit. 29th in passing yards allowed. Got to stop the pass to win.
All right, so next up is Dump, picking number 26, depending on the playoffs. This is another one you can't really complain about the team. He's pretty stacked all the way through. Maybe just add some secondary. The pass defense is kind of weak, so but even there he's got guys. So maybe just get better at pass defense. All right.
Yeah, I would pretty much have to agree. I would go with the safeties. I think safety needs to be addressed. They're definitely holding the squad back a little bit. So I'd be looking safety if I was the Niners.
Yeah, your corner 1 and 2 are good. Maybe change your defensive pass scheme or something. But safeties do need help. Both safeties are a little on the weaker end, and those will help shore up passing a lot, especially in Madden 21.
All right, so next up's the Giants and Rowan's team. He's missing a first-round pick as well, but he's got 2 seconds and a third. To me, this is a no-brainer. You just need to get more defense. Just use every pick you got to get defense, and that offense is already extremely dangerous.
Offense is dangerous, absolutely. Yeah, again, I've been harping on secondary, but I think secondary is unbelievably important in this Madden. Like your safeties, so it probably would come down to corner. But I also don't hate the idea of doubling down. Go get another receiver. I'm not a huge Sterling Shepard fan. That 89 speed is pretty ugly. Looks like you got some guys that you can develop, but maybe get like a go-to one kind of person. Get one from Graham's.
There you go. An in-division trade.
Yeah, if only.
All right.
Yeah, this pick will probably go on defense. Offense, it's fine.
All right. So next up is Jacksonville. I've got 2 first-round picks, a second, and 3 third-round picks. I can tell you right now, I'm probably going more defense because my plan is to build this team into as many superstars on that defensive side as the ball as I can get, and try to win games by just shutting out opponents. Because offensively, I feel like anybody can can move the ball on offense with most guys. But defense, if you look at like the top teams in the AFC, all of them top 10 defense. So I think defense is the way to win this year, especially when you're going to have a team like Matt over there in the AFC that's going to run the ball a lot. You just need to load up on guys that can stop the run, and so that's what I'm going to try and do with my draft picks.
Yeah, for sure. I think for you, I'd be looking DT. I like Devon Hamilton. He's a nice little, but I think you need a little more depth there and a thick boy, real thick boy, to help against those runs. Obviously, because you're going to be playing Dan when it matters. He wants to run. You got Jonathan Taylor. You got Matt. So you gotta get those DTs beefed up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that defensive line just in the middle there, and then maybe out a linebacker wouldn't hurt too bad. But other than that, the team's pretty solid.
All right, so next up is Latin Yanks and the Jets, and he's picking 15th. I don't know how he stumbled his way to the middle of the draft, but I think that's going to hurt him picking 15th because he's a guy that should probably be picking top 5 pretty routinely. But the roster actually isn't that bad. I would definitely add more defense again. That's just I could probably say that for 99% of the teams out here. His linebackers are getting a little older, so maybe add a linebacker or two, and then take notes from everybody else in the AFC East. You got Paulie and Matt both like to run the ball and play good defense. Maybe try that out. I know you got Aaron Rodgers, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's for me. I mean, running back. He's rocking Tevin Coleman, Trenton Cannon, and Brenton Johns. I mean, that's got to get better. And then it's just got to be defense. The linebackers are slow. The secondary is not very good. His defensive ranks are 32, 32, 25, 32. So
yeah.
Yeah, you give it the most points in the league. Something's got to change on defense. Maybe it's the players. Maybe it's calling cover 0, 25, or 75% of the game.
it's a lot.
If it works for you, it works, but I don't think it's working, bud.
It's not.
And then maybe a running back to give you a little more balance on offense.
All right, so next up is the Lions. This team in Hova, they were the hottest team in the SML for about 2 weeks. They beat Paulie, and then he beat someone else. I don't even remember who it was. But he had 2 wins in a row, had a little winning streak going. He's rolling out there with his 65 overall quarterback that's can throw far. That's about it. Not very accurate, but he did get 2 wins out of it. He could use a running back because none of his running backs are that good. I mean, he's the Lions. All right, he could use pretty much everything. About the only advice would be find a way to get fair sims. Maybe you'll come out on top, but even with this roster, that's not going to happen either.
Start ducking.
Yeah, so I don't know. Run the ball more. I got no advice for the Lions. Don't get stuck with the Lions next season. That's probably the best advice.
Well, my advice: the defensive line is dreadful. It looks like he did try and address that with Josh Flowers last season, but the other 2 positions there are awful. 3 positions. My big advice would be hold the ball for 2 seconds when you're passing. Hova likes the hike and the instant pass. Galladay is going to get open. Troy Wiggins has 97 speed. He's going to get open. Agnew 93 speed. He's going to get open. Take a second to breathe before launching off the pass that could potentially be directly at someone's user over the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that defense needs help again. You give up the 3rd most points in the league. That linebacking core is pretty rough. That's where I would put my immediate focus on because Deshaun Hand's all right. Trey Flowers is all right. They can hold it down for now. You're going to need to improve that in the long run. But Okuda's good. You got another young corner, but the linebacker core is pretty rough.
All right, so next up is Mike and the Packers. Mike likes to go 500. Looks like he's going to fall a little short of his 500 goal, so he needs to find a way to get above that. But his team doesn't look too bad. I could probably see getting maybe another corner, someone with a little more speed. Although he does have Nickerson and Holman sitting down there at the bottom of his depth chart that are are fairly fast. And then maybe a strong safety. He's got Kareem Jackson, who's 34 years old and 86 speed. And then he's got 2 younger guys, but both of them are kind of lower overalls. And so maybe I'd improve something in my secondary.
Yeah, I think I heard him say that he's letting Zadarius Smith walk.
Was it?
So I think
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it's Zadarius Smith. So probably going to be pass rush, going to need to be in order this season. Get a replacement there. Most of the defensive linemen don't look that great, so that'll probably be the biggest area of improvement.
Yeah, I would get Kenny Clark some help, maybe on the ends. Kenny Clark's a beast, but other than that, you got some holes on the D line. Help shore that up, might help a little bit. Give Clark some more opportunities.
All right, so next up is the Panthers and Royce. Easiest advice I could give is probably play your games. That would be a good start. He did make the playoffs though, somehow. And I would probably, and this would be awful for him, but I'd go back to Teddy Bridgewater. I know that 85 throw power is pretty disgusting, and Eason sitting there with a 94 is kind of fun to look at, but you got Bridgewater. He does have 91 short accuracy, 85 medium accuracy, and 81 deep accuracy. You only throw the ball like 10 feet half the time anyway to McCaffrey, and he can hand it off just as good as anyone else. So I think I go with Bridgewater. So maybe that's the move. Eason doesn't look too bad, but I think I would take Bridgewater's accuracy in those short passes over Eason.
Sounds like I'm playing him round 1, so I'm going to forego any advice.
All right.
Yeah, I would shore up your safeties. Seems like you didn't really do much with Jeremy Chin. He's only 79 overall, and then you got Trey Boston at free safety, who's 78 overall and 30. So I think the back end of that defense could use some help.
All right. Next up will be Matt and the Patriots.
We should have skipped the playoff teams. Holy smokes.
Yeah. I can't even, I think the EA servers may have gone down because now I can't pull up his team or anything.
Oof.
Maybe it's back up. I just had to back out. He's a playoff team, so he's going to have a high draft pick or a late draft pick. And he's got all of them except his third. For him, I would either boost the defense or shore up that right tackle position because he's got a 69 overall there. Everything else is really good on the offensive line. And then maybe get a receiver. Maybe I don't know, somebody better than Allen Hall, this first year guy he's got, or second year guy, and Gallup. Maybe if you can get somebody with a little more speed, kind of take the top off the defense to open up the run a little more. But he's clearly not having any issues running the ball. So without having seen too much of him, I don't think I have too much advice other than just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I would say double down. Do whatever it takes to get a superstar running back. If this guy gets a back with abilities, we might as well just pack up and go home.
Well, I would assume that that Rashard Penny is gonna have abilities. Actually, as a matter of fact, he is. He's a superstar right now.
Oh, he is a star right now?
Yeah.
Right,
so he only has
mind.
balance beam, which I think Dalvin Cook has that, doesn't he?
It's awful. He still falls.
Yeah. But he hasn't unlocked his
Useless.
second one yet. He needs 2 more overall to do that, and I would assume he'll have that done.
All right, so
by the
maybe
beginning
do
of
whatever it
next season.
takes then to get like a pass rusher with abilities or something.
Yeah.
Actually, call me. I'll send you Ngakoue.
There you go.
Yeah, I would maybe upgrade that tight end position to improve the passing game. Wide receivers, Gallup, Hall, they can do all right. They got enough speed to hold it down, but maybe tight end will improve that passing game that's ranked dead last.
Yeah. So next up is going to be the Raiders. This is future, coming off an 11-5 season. Now he's picking 12th. I think his big need is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, and then figure out your quarterback situation. Because he's been kind of flip flopping between the 3 of Carr, Baker, and Middleton, and you're only earning the majority of your training points for the one that's playing. So if you're kind of leveling up all 3 of them at the same time, it's a lot slower for your development. And I would just pick one. They're all fairly fairly similar. If I was him, I'd probably go with Middleton just for the higher throw power. If you're not going to keep Carr. Now, Carr's a 31-year-old superstar, but only 80 overall, so you could move him to one of these teams that could use a quarterback. But that would be my advice: is pick one and stick with him, and then upgrade the defense with the draft picks.
I would agree on the quarterback. I think that's the big thing on this. I think you just got to find a guy, dev him, whatever it takes. Just stick with the one dude. Carr's not doing anything for you, and he's taking up your cap.
Yep.
Yeah, I would look probably pretty solely defense. Your quarterback's not great, but you're still sixth in passing yards, and you can't stop a nosebleed. So this team kind of reminded me of the Giants coming in. They had a few solid offensive pieces and not much on defense. And I've tried to adjust my defense, and it looks like you have just neglected the defense. So yeah, you got to stop teams to win. It's a reminder, reoccurring theme.
All right, so next up is the Rams and RD. Now, he's missed quite a few games because of personal reasons, and that got him, a top 10 pick, which could come in really handy with this team. And it seems like he really doesn't like Jared Goff.
It's got to be quarterback. Answer has to be quarterback.
Yeah,
here.
so I would go quarterback, and I know I just said don't trade with Prime, but if there was a better match for a trade, then I don't see it, because I would trade that number 9 pick for his quarterback. Prime's talked about getting rid of the quarterback, and if there was any truth to that, and I'm RD, I would consider that number 1 pick for the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's what that pick has to be. So I'll let Row take it away. Hopefully agree, and we can move to the next team.
Yeah, quarterback. Take that top 10 pick and do something with it.
All right, so after that, we got NYT and the Ravens. He has no first-round pick. He's got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So he's got everything except his number 1. He's got tons of speed at the receiver spot. He's got running back that's good. He's got tight ends that are good. It's got to be defense for him. Defensive line specifically is getting older, minus the defensive tackle position. So I would probably use those picks to get an end, at least one, and because everything else is pretty locked down other than that defensive end position where those guys are getting older. Realistically, with this roster, there's no reason you shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Yeah, defensive line getting older. I would go. They are not super young. Geno Stone, 23 is the youngest, only 75 zone. So I'd go look for some safeties. Try and see if you can find an impact player there.
Yep, front 7. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Next up is Washington. Washington's going to come in. He's going to have a late pick as well. And I don't know, that team, it doesn't look too terribly bad, but I would add defense. He gave up like 42 points to Prime, and then I was able to come back at the end too. So maybe defense, and then he could probably use a little bit of the scouting advice from Two Step. Just scout your opponent's uniforms, and try to throw to the other team, or not the other team, but throw to your team, not the other team.
Yeah, that definitely helps. That's what got him in trouble against Clink there. So that's probably the big one. A lot of good impact players in this. I might look at a receiver. Obviously, I know he likes to play offense. He's very good at it. Terry McLaurin is a beast, but he does not have a lot of help otherwise. A couple guys with some speed, but that's about it. So I would say maybe try and find another reliable receiver.
Yeah, I'd say young receiver, or maybe try to find your running back in the future. You're using Gordon right now. You don't seem to have much interest in Love and Gibson, and Gordon's already 29. So maybe try to find a running back that you can use the rest of the cycle.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too. And
that's a good point. Yep.
If he does decide to move on from Antonio Gibson, give me a call. Let me know. I may be in the market for a faster running back as well, and I could definitely use somebody like Antonio Gibson. And but outside of that, yeah, I don't think this team's in too bad a shape. But then we move on to the Saints, and the guy that made my bold prediction come true, Colt, and his 11 loss Saints. So he exceeded my prediction by one. and he's got all his picks. One of them, which is going to be in the top 10, it looks like number 6. And I don't think this is even a question. He needs a quarterback. So maybe
Glaring.
maybe you do the same thing and you make a call to Prime, because quarterback is your need. But now Colt plays a little better offense than some of these teams that need quarterbacks, so he may be able to develop a rookie on his own. But but he definitely needs to go with a quarterback.
Yep. QB. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, fully agree.
All right.
Can't go with Minshew. Love the guy. Can't do it.
All right. So then we got the Seahawks and Tiny. He's got 2 first-round picks. One's his own, which is number 4
Probably needs
overall.
a receiver.
Yeah, and then he's got number 30 overall, or at least as of now, number 30 with the Colts. And yeah, I think he needs a receiver. Maybe somebody if he could get somebody like a DK Metcalf type receiver, that would be great.
Yeah, I hear those come in handy. Actually, I would legitimately be looking at a running back. Chris Carson's about to hit the regression. From what I understand, he's not a superstar. He is not. So
no, he's not.
He will likely be regressing. Probably could look for that run game.
Yeah,
a little more.
Definitely something on offense.
Yeah, I would look wide receiver actually. Lockett's getting up there, and then maybe front 7 defensively.
All right. So next up is KJ and the Steelers. KJ right now has 2 number 1 picks. He's got his own, which will be number 1 overall, and then he's got Rowan's from the trade. I believe that's from the Daniel Jones trade. And if I was him, I don't know. It seems like he's already moved on from Daniel Jones, which I think is a mistake. Stick with Daniel Jones. He's starting to come around. I think the last 2 games he's played a lot better. So maybe he's okay with Daniel Jones now. But I would get a running back. All of his running backs are bad. James Conner, he's already 27. He's only 86 speed, 82 agility, 89 acceleration. Maybe get rid of one of these receivers you got. If you're looking to move Chase Claypool, let me know. And some of the defense could probably use short up too. The team needs a lot because they're not winning a lot of games, so they're not developing. Basically, don't get trade raped. That would be my my advice. Is you have the number 1 overall pick, you have number 24 overall pick, you have all your other picks. Don't get trade raped, and the team will be better. And maybe trade for something better instead of trying to get rookies. Maybe try to trade those picks, but don't get raped.
Yeah, it's definitely a good. I mean, this team top 10 in all defensive stats except for points, which is probably because of all the picks, putting the team in bad field position. Running back, I think, would be my go-to. I would be using one of those first on a running back. Get somebody you can dev. He kind of missed his opportunity with McFarland. And run game cures all ills in Madden 21. So if he's, gets a good running back and start to run the ball, that can translate to a lot more wins.
All right.
Yeah, I would say running back and then that D line, D tackle, and maybe shore them up a little bit. And then if that doesn't work, maybe slide back down to primer, focus on winning a few games, a little less comp. No, I'm kidding. We like to have you here.
All right. So next up is the Texans. He's going to have a top 5 pick. And my advice on this one doesn't really have to do as much with adding as with stick with Geis at running back. He's got this running back branch that he drafted that he's been using. Stick with Geis and lean on him. I don't see any reason not to. He's an 85 overall. He's got 89 break tackle, 91 truck, 93 carry. Like, he's better than this 70 overall rookie you got all day. And I would just lean on Geis and stop going back and forth. He was using Duke Johnson for a while last season and the season before. Just Darius Geis. That'd be my advice.
Yeah, stick with the running back. You're gonna need receiver pretty soon here. Will Fuller is a beast, but you've got Watkins who's about to regress. Golden Tate is old as dirt. Anthony Miller is honestly getting into that regression area. And in the division you're in, you're going to need to be able to score points because the defenses are nasty. So you're going to need players to be able to do that. The answer might be just find a way to switch divisions if you can do that. But I'd go receiver.
I'd say cornerback and receiver, those playmakers on the outside, both sides of the ball. You need both of those in the AFC South to compete. So that'd be my main focus.
All right, so the next team up is going to be the Titans, and this is Coop. This is another team I would probably lean towards quarterback. It seems like he can't find one he likes. He's gone from he had Tannehill the first season. Talked nothing but getting rid of Tannehill, and if you look at his depth chart right now, who's there? Ryan Tannehill. After he got rid of him, so I guess quarterback. Tannehill is 34, so he's gonna start regressing. He doesn't have good throw power, decent accuracy, but yeah, I would look for a quarterback here, and then maybe even just boost up anything I could on the offensive line. His offensive line is all at least 70s, so nothing too glaring there. But so I think I'd go quarterback, or maybe just keep building that defense because his defense looks really good right now.
Yeah, I definitely think it's time for QB. The pick's high enough that you'll be able to get somebody decent. Obviously, you're going to rely on Henry the most, so it's not going to be that big a deal. But you should definitely find somebody you can grow with and be confident in when you do need to throw the ball.
Yep, I would look at the position that hands the ball to Henry.
Yeah. All right, and then that makes our last team to look at, the Vikings, and you've got all your picks, and the only advice I could use or give you is use all those picks. Don't trade them because you need to get a little bit younger. So
yeah,
that's all I can say is get younger and use those picks to do that.
Yeah, team is old. I'll probably be looking interior D-line. I've tried a couple picks on them, and it hasn't worked out. They've mostly sucked. Michael Pierce has great stats, and he is horrible. So if anybody wants somebody who looks good on their team, sign him in UFA, but he's worthless.
Yeah, I get youth across the board, and then when it comes to playing the game, it kind of pains me to say this, but use RowinCuh.
Yeah, it's so boring.
Yeah, the other thing I would do is I would take that Helen Keller ebook. I know you still have it somewhere. Pull it out of the
It's still
drawer
on
you got
sale.
it in.
Nobody's called.
Yeah, take it out in the backyard and just light it on fire and burn it, because I don't know what happened those 2 games, but it did not work. Definitely get rid of that, because it seems like since you've gone away from that, things have been looking up.
Yeah, it's not advised.
Yeah, don't pull that one back out. But with that, that's going to be that's going to be all the teams that we have. So that's our once around the league. I don't think we were quite as bad taking shots at teams as I hoped or thought we would be. But
I think if we had stuck with that for the whole episode instead of
we'd have
some
been here
playoff
till
picks,
tomorrow.
yeah,
yeah, maybe we'll have a heat check roast at some point where we
all right, that sounds good.
we just go after.
Yeah, if you do, you know whose line to hit.
Yeah, we'll get right after Prime. But you meant you?
Yeah, you can call me up, and
okay.
I'll make another appearance for you.
All right. Well, we appreciate having you.
Yeah, it was fun, guys.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it.
It looks like we're going to come in at just under an hour and a half, so easily our longest episode. And
it felt every second of it during
especially
those
after
teams
being
there.
up all night last night, and then going in early to work today. I'm feeling it. But one more game. Got to watch tonight's game too. So
Yep.
and then I'll just die in a car wreck on the way to work tomorrow. No big deal.
That's showbiz.
Yeah, it happens. It'll make our ratings go through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, appreciate having you
All
on, Rowan.
Thank you, boys. See you later.
All
See you
right,
later,
see you,
SML.
man.
Good
Yep,
luck in the playoffs.
that's it.
Let me get a heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat. Can I get a heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check, heat check.